Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, social media, pop culture, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. If this is your first time here to the channel, I'd like to welcome you guys here, as well as returning visitors and subscribers across all alt tech and YouTube. Thank you guys so very much for your continued support. On Tuesday, I left a community message which you can find directly on the BuzWeaver channel main page, asking you guys how you watch the channel, whether it's via PC, phone, TV, console, or other. If you haven't had a chance to stop by, be sure to go by the community tab and let me know how you're watching the videos. I am maybe not entirely surprised that many of you watch it via mobile phone, but nonetheless, guys, if you haven't had a chance, go by and check that out in the community tab.
So we're going to start things off with this Loudoun County, Virginia teacher who delivered a message to the school board meeting this week.
This school district continues to show up on national news, and it is absolutely embarrassing to see what once used to be the nation's leading school district has desecrated to. This school district is upon almost every single school district in the nation that continues to force teachers through mandatory training where we are told to examine our whiteness, white privilege, white supremacy, microaggressions upon every other thing that is absolutely stupid and racist. Now, this same school district wants to threaten to fire teachers who do not agree with a critical race theory. You are the face of privilege. You do not speak for us if you do not work with us. If you keep up this racist insanity, you will have successfully stripped us of every ounce of love of teaching, and so far you have succeeded in doing that. Keep this up and you will lose all of your teachers at the same rate that you have been losing these incredible families who, some of you, fall asleep when they're trying to get your attention. God bless.
All right, and I couldn't agree with her more because President Trump had addressed critical race theory by suspending it, at least within the federal government and the agencies within the federal government, because it is by its own definition a form of racism. When you decide to divide people into groups or suggest that one particular group of people is more superior than another, and therefore the other groups require some sort of assistance or special treatment, you are in fact segregating these individuals. And despite your good intentions, which I believe a lot of the left tries to do because they operate from a position where they don't hold themselves to the same standards they expect from everyone else, and they immunize themselves with their perception that they are well-intentioned. But the problem is you are actually creating the very environment that you profess to try to inhibit. So we go over here to the Blaze Media. Longtime Democrat Sarah Silverman, not sure she wants to be affiliated with a party anymore. The comedian says partnership is damaging the country. Well, we've been saying that here on the BuzWeaver channel for 3 years. See, what happened, ladies and gentlemen, was that polite society gave the resistance a little bit of space to air their grievances, and here we are today in this complete collapse of culture, almost like a collapse of society. Now, of course, this isn't affecting every single person, but it is the kind of boiling the frog in the pot, slowly progressing forward and collapsing our society. Because in retrospective, you could argue that the progressives and agitators, as it were, or the people out there rioting and so forth, really just want to create chaos and disorder so that no one really knows what's all going on. So in a video shared by the Post-Millennial on Friday, Silverman says of Democrats, "It's the absolutist nest of the party that I am in that is such a turnoff to me. It's so effing elitist, you know? For something called progressives, it allows for zero progress. It's all or nothing. No steps towards all or effing nothing. Again, righteousness porn. And I've been thinking about this a lot, just in general," she continued. I don't know that I want to be associated with any party. I really think I don't want to be associated with any party anymore. Now, she doesn't name any party or organization or activism that she wants to be a part of, but We've already seen that comedians have been affected by this a long time ago. We go back to Kevin Hart when he was going to host the Academy Awards, or the Oscars, I should say, the Oscars. And, they go back to a 10-year-old joke that he made. And we're seeing that now, where these activists now, apparently they're not satisfied with any current events that are going on to be able to cancel anyone with. So they have to go back in time to be able to cancel people. From the Daily Wire, Black Lives Matter page owner allegedly used 450,000 in donations for personal use, FBI says. A federal grand jury in Cleveland, Ohio charged Major Page, whose real name is Tyree Conyers Page, with 3 counts of money laundering and 1 count of wire fraud, according to a Department of Justice DOJ press release. The indictment set forth by the government alleged that Page created a 501c3 nonprofit, by the way, exemption, Facebook account titled Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta, here in Atlanta. He allegedly used the account to defraud individuals of over more than $450,000 after the tax-exempt status was revoked by the IRS, according to a press release. So here we have an individual, part of these organizations, and we can't always say they're on the up and up, but we did see during the Grammys, for example, one of the former Women's March individuals who basically caused the Women's March to collapse because she made anti-Semitic statements, but yet she was there at the Grammys to give a presentation on equity and needing, obviously the continued attention. Basically, you could say the Grammys was a Black Lives Matter propaganda style endorsement. Is basically what the Grammys ended up being. Now, I didn't watch it, but I mean, obviously it was yet another platform. But you had someone from the Women's March who was from a defunct organization, because the Women's March was denounced by the Democrats and others because of her anti-Semitic comments. But people seem to have forgotten that there is still a continuing protest going on. And this is from last year's protest from George Floyd, of course, and of course the continuing trial that is going on right now. But let's take a quick listen here from KMO News in Portland.
We've obtained an undercover video showing a meeting Saturday night here at Occidental Park. It's a raw look at how these demonstrators operate and what they're about.
Today's a loss.
This is a rare glimpse into the world of Seattle's direct action marchers, known for wearing all black and destroying property.
But never should we just be stopping.
Listen to the group leader scolding and dressing down the protesters for being sloppy and lacking coordination after police arrested 13 people for things like obstruction, resisting arrest, and assaulting officers.
Getting arrested help anybody? It don't, because now I gotta go sit in front of the jail for my friend.
On Saturday night, the person who sent us this footage managed to infiltrate the group and secretly recorded the post-mortem with marchers. We're also getting a better sense of how they strategize and prepare for a demonstration.
Have you ever seen a march on Alaskan Way? You want to know why? Because there's water to our backs. Because there's only 2 ways we can get got.
The leader also says SPD is understaffed and vulnerable, reminding marchers they face 0 consequences unless they commit a felony.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously here, the emboldened groups are still continuing to do what they do. Now, we're not seeing that so much on the media as we were, say, during the time that President Trump was in office. But as you can see, the mainstream media, the establishment, is keeping all of this kind of under wraps. So we always have to go to Andy No, because he's always on top of all of this sort of activity. So all of this is still going on in the background. You're just not hearing about it as much because these groups and these organizations have been essentially ostracized by the Democrats, by the establishment, because they serve their purpose, and that was to be agitators and for the media to point to them and say, see, look what Trump has caused. Look what's going on that is causing all this. Yet we can clearly see, like with this critical race theory school board meeting, as with Sarah Silverman, with defunct organizations like this particular individual that was here in Atlanta, and even the Women's March, that these groups, despite the fact that they work with a bit of lackluster and often fail at whatever it is they're trying to do, they are still out there continuing to set the stage, set the tempo, and set the culture for our country. And of course, we're already seeing just from Biden with what's going on at the border, just how quickly the United States has descended into this sort of chaos. But hopefully all of you guys are still able to go about and carry on your daily lives. But of course, this will all have an impact on us because we will be seeing the effects of what Joe Biden is doing, particularly to taxes, as well as we've seen gas prices going up. So this type of activity is going to continue, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of the apex of where these organizations have reached, and these particular philosophies and ideologies from the progressives are starting to slowly collapse.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you so much for your continued support across all social media, including Alt Tech. If you guys didn't know, below this video, there are a series of links to those various social media sites and or communities that I belong to. So be sure to avail yourself of those and join me. That way you guys will know when there's additional content outside of the channel as well, because I just do general posting from time to time on there. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for the continued support. It is greatly appreciated, particularly during this time. And as of this recording, it is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you guys had a great day on Wednesday. Enjoying that as best you can during the current pandemic. And of course, appearing right there on the screen, that would be the channel icon to subscribe. You can click on that and of course subscribe, as well as click notifications. That will be the little bell symbol there. You can click on that and decide if you want to receive notifications when there is content on the channel, as well as the Friday vlog. And I will see you guys right there behind the camera next week.